Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Risky Business, Are You Prepared for FSMA 204? I'm Yanni Papadopoulos, co-founder of Delta T Partners, and I'm excited to be here with you to discuss this important topic. Before founding Delta T Partners, I spent several years at Corvium, a software company in the food industry. There, I led efforts in building digital solutions for food safety. That experience gave me a good understanding of the challenges in maintaining food safety standards throughout the food supply chain. Following this experience, my partner and I formed Delta T to help support and improve food safety for everyone.
And I'm Tara Wilson, co-founder of Delta T Partners. Like Yanni, I also spent a significant amount of time at Corvium, a leader in food safety and data analytics. We worked with amazing customers such as Smithfield and Lindt and partners such as Ecolab. My role focused on using data to drive better food safety outcomes, and that experience has been invaluable as we help restaurants navigate the complex landscape of food safety regulations, including the upcoming FSMA 204 changes. In this webinar, we'll talk about what is FSMA 204, where we stand today, what risks restaurants face by not complying with FSMA 204, and finally, what are the steps to get you to compliance. By the end, you will have a better understanding of what you need to do, and if you take our FSMA 204 Readiness Score Assessment, a clearer picture of where your biggest challenges lie.
Now let's dive into what FSMA 204 is and why it matters to you. Starting in 2009, the precursor of FSMA, the Food Safety Enhancement Act, opened the road for the eventual creation of FSMA. The Food Safety Modernization Act was passed into law in 2011, and full enforcement started in 2020. That was 13 years ago, and since then it has been the cornerstone of food safety regulations across the U.S. FSMA 204D, commonly referred to as FSMA 204, is the final rule released in November 2022, focusing on enhanced traceability record-keeping for the whole food supply chain, from harvest to retail sale. It is designed to protect public health by allowing for faster identification and removal of potentially contaminated food from the market. Restaurants and food businesses with annual food and beverage sales exceeding $250,000 are required to comply with FSMA 204 by January 20th, 2026. This includes a wide range of establishments from local eateries and large-scale food operations to groceries and ready-to-eat stores. This webinar focuses on restaurants, but the same rules apply to any kind of establishment that sells food, with very few exceptions. A year until enforcement starts seems like a long time, but given the scope of FSMA 204, it's really not.
The compliance requirements are few, but very important and far-reaching. Every establishment that meets the criteria above needs to have a traceability plan that is kept updated and validated every year. The traceability plan covers things like what foods need to be tracked, where the information is stored, when and how staff is trained, who is responsible for maintaining the plan itself, and more. Each revision of the plan must be saved for 2 years and be available when requested by the FDA. Having a plan is only the first step. Per your plan, you need to keep records of the traceability information you are receiving from your suppliers and must ensure it is complete and accurate. You are also responsible for training existing and new staff in the right traceability processes. Finally, when requested by the FDA, you need to be able to provide your plan and any required traceability support documentation within 24 hours. On top of that, you need to keep monitoring for any changes to the rules and regulations, and also when supplier or staff changes take place, to maintain compliance with FSMA 204.
Some important terms to remember about FSMA 204. The Food Traceability List identifies all the foods the FDA requires traceability data on, like cucumbers, tomatoes, seafood, leafy greens, and more. It is commonly known as the FTL. Critical tracking events are events at different stages in the supply chain that are important enough to trigger traceability activities, things like harvest, storage, sending and receiving, etc. They're commonly known as CTEs. Finally, key data elements are the types of information that the FDA expects to be captured and recorded at each CTE for any foods you handle that are listed in the FTL. If you haven't guessed already, these are commonly known as KDs. When the FDA comes knocking, they expect you to provide them with a spreadsheet like the one you see on your screens. That's just 4 records, which means 4 products that you received at some point. As you can see, we had to break it into 2 parts to fit. There's quite a bit of information that needs to be managed and provided to the FDA within 24 hours of their request. The good news is that you already have some of that information from your suppliers. For the rest, we have done most of the hard work for you. We have spent days studying the rule details, including all the information that should appear in a spreadsheet like this, as well as how the information gets to you from your various sources.
To grasp why preparing for FSMA 204 is so critical, let's start by looking at where we are today. In 2022, food recalls hit a 10-year high, an alarming 700% increase from the year before. This statistic makes one thing clear: the need for stronger food safety practices has never been more urgent. In addition, consumer expectations are rapidly evolving. A recent survey revealed that 72% of consumers believe transparency is essential when deciding which brands to support. Another survey found that 74% of restaurant guests view food safety as the most critical part of their dining experience. Your customers aren't just looking for safe food anymore. They're demanding transparency in every part of the process, from sourcing to handling to delivery. FSMA 204 is a direct response to this rising demand for transparency. Restaurants that get ahead of these regulations will not only be prepared for compliance, but will also strengthen customer trust and improve their brand reputation. Now, remember that spreadsheet we showed you earlier? Everything necessary to produce this on demand must be in place by January 20th, 2026. While that might seem far away, it's important to recognize that traceability affects the entire supply chain, from farm to food retail. Every participant, including storage, transportation, and processing, will need to track and contribute their own data into the traceability system. We estimate that between 84 to 178 key data elements need to be collected across the supply chain, and the message from supply chain has not been very encouraging. I don't have all the data I need. What I do have is outdated or inaccurate. I might not have it in the format my trading partners need, or I don't have the data governance structure in place to manage all this. For restaurants, while you don't need to collect all this information yourself, it's critical that your suppliers provide it to you correctly and completely for every product affected by the FSMA 204 ruling. Starting early allows you to identify any gaps, ensuring your supplier network is working to provide what's required and in the right format. And we're here to help. We'll work alongside you and your suppliers to ensure they're up to speed so you can stay compliant and shine in the eyes of the FDA.
But compliance is not just about meeting regulatory demands, but also about protecting your business from financial and legal damages. Non-compliance can incur reinspection fees at $250 to $300 per hour and fines that reach into the hundreds of thousands. Depending on the situation, suspension of operations is possible until the FDA determines that the business is in compliance. In extreme cases, if non-compliance results in serious illness or death, criminal charges may be filed. Let's also consider the secondary financial impact of recalls. Without the benefits of efficient and proper traceability, you might end up discarding far more inventory than necessary. Efficiently pulling only the affected products can save you significant amounts of money and protect your inventory levels. Minimizing product loss is a key incentive here. Having the ability to accurately identify and remove only contaminated products means you can avoid unnecessary waste, maintaining both your inventory and reducing unexpected expenses. More importantly, making sure that you're not still offering a possibly harmful meal or product keeps your customers and your business healthy.
And that is why FSMA 204 compliance helps your brand reputation. A major food safety incident can have long-lasting effects on your brand. I'm sure we all remember Chipotle, but that's history. How many businesses were impacted by Boar's Head massive 7 million pounds deli meat recall earlier this year? How many had to get rid of stock? Do extra sanitation needs come after that? How many were thankful that it wasn't their customers that got sick? On Saturday, September 7th, 2024, the CDC announced that 65 people had gotten sick from a salmonella outbreak related to eggs. Of those, 24 have been hospitalized, and the particular strain is resistant to most common antibiotics. Illnesses started from May 23rd, so it took close to 4 months to figure out the culprit. Milo's poultry farm in Wisconsin shipped eggs to stores and restaurants in Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, and probably more places, according to the USDA, as it announced the recall on Friday, September 6th. It's cases like these that show how crucial it is to be proactive, not reactive, but these are just a couple of many. Having FSMA 204 in operation would have probably saved months of tracking back to find out the source of the problem. Your brand's reputation is very hard to build up and very easy to tarnish.
Now that we've explored the potential risks, let's focus on how you can proactively manage them. Preparing for FSMA 204 isn't just about checking regulatory boxes. It's about weaving robust food safety and traceability practices into your restaurant's daily operations. That's where Delta T Partners can support you. One of the most powerful tools we offer for free is our proprietary FSMA 204 Readiness Score Assessment, the one we mentioned at the very beginning. It is a questionnaire specifically designed to provide a comprehensive evaluation of your restaurant's readiness for compliance. Taking this quick assessment will provide you with a report clearly identifying the areas where you need to focus your efforts. With your readiness score report on hand, you'll need to ensure your traceability practices align with FSMA 204. Conducting a gap analysis is the next step. Understanding in detail the areas where your current systems might fall short, whether it's outdated record keeping or insufficient supply chain data or something else, is crucial. Once you've identified the gaps, it's time to develop a roadmap. The roadmap is a plan that identifies the best, most effective path to get to your goal of compliance. This plan should include clear milestones, budgets, and timelines to ensure you're fully compliant before the FDA's enforcement date. With your roadmap ready, you now have the almost final part of implementation. Using existing or new processes, solutions, and technologies, you will be able to reach your traceability compliance goals on time and within budget. Remember, compliance isn't a one-and-done task. It requires ongoing effort. Regular staff training, continuous monitoring, and frequent audits of your traceability systems will keep you compliant and protect your business.
At Delta T Partners, we provide the guidance and tools to make this entire process easy from start to finish with minimal impact on your operations and bottom line. We are here to help you assess your current practices through our readiness score assessment and consultations. We can help you not only build your traceability plan with our automated tool and put together your roadmap, but we'll also work with you to implement your roadmap in a form that fits your needs, whether it is advisory only or providing you with the appropriate software turnkey solutions. Finally, we can assist in ensuring that you remain compliant with the regulation by taking advantage of our monitoring and ongoing support services. Think of this as your insurance policy against the high cost of noncompliance, financial, legal, and reputational.
We've already collected some questions from discussions that we had with local restaurant owners, but please feel free to send us any additional questions or comments you may have. Tara, can you read me the questions, please?
Sure. One of our questions that we got was, how do I control what information my suppliers provide to me?
Well, you do and you don't. The best lever you have in motivating your suppliers to provide the right information in the proper format is to be proactive and detailed in your expectations. Working with a company like ours, we add the leverage of combining the multiple requests of their customers into a louder and more concise message, as well as being able to work with them directly to ensure you, their customers, get what they need.
One question that came in is, the risk is very small to justify what I guess would be an expensive solution. So why should I do it?
Very good question. Beyond the fines and business closure, which are the most severe of punishments, the harder to calculate financial and reputation costs are important, not to mention the health and well-being of customers. To balance all these, the cost of implementing a compliance solution does not have to be very high. While there are costly solutions out there that target mostly the supply chain, we are focused on the smaller, 1 to 10 location food retail that is usually underserved and has tighter margins. Our solutions are priced with that in mind and would be happy to talk to those of you interested individually.
Great, thanks for that. Next question is, I think I'm already getting this information in my supplier's invoices. How can I check?
Unfortunately, this is not very straightforward. FDA's FSMA 204 rule is pretty substantial. If you were to print it out with all its subsections, attachments, and all relevant and cross-referenced information, it would be a few hundred pages. You can definitely go online and read through all of that. Or you can engage our services and take advantage of the countless hours we spend doing that already for you.
And the next question is, I am buying all my restaurant supplies from Costco. What do I need to do?
In most cases, if all of your supplies come from a retail business like Costco, you do not fall under the requirements of FSMA 204. Be aware, though, that even if one food item belonging to the FTL is coming from another supplier, you will have to comply for that item with the rule.
Okay, and next question is, I'm a farm-to-fork place and all my supplies come directly from area farms. Do I need to comply with this regulation?
Similar to the answer before, in most cases, if all your supplies come directly from a farm, you do not fall under the requirements of FSMA 204. There are some exceptions to this rule, though, and I would urge you to either read the rule very carefully on the FDA's site or engage the services of a consultant like us to review your particulars. In either case, make sure you stay informed of any updates to the rule that may affect your situation.
Great. And finally, the last question that we will share that we've got is, I'm getting most of my stock from a major supplier. I assume they will provide everything I need to be compliant. Why would I need to do anything more?
If they do provide all the information you need, that would be great. You will still need to make sure that this is the case from your other suppliers, and you're still responsible for your traceability plan, storage and retrieval of the information you receive, training your staff, and being able to deliver a report to the FDA within 24 hours from request. None of these steps can be pushed back to your suppliers.
Well, thank you for answering some of those common questions we've got so far. As we wrap up, we want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. The changes brought by FSMA 204 are important and can be burdensome, but with the right preparation, your business can navigate them successfully. Don't forget to visit the link to the FSMA 204 Readiness Score Assessment tool and see where you stand today. We're here to support you every step of the way. Thank you and have a great day.